What's good with the YouTube? You already know Big Flacco with a convict's perspective, and I'm smashing, dashing, sliding on through with a little bit of energy. Before we start off, man, let's hit the likes, comment, subscribe, man. Take the time right now to do that right now. You did that, hey, gracias. Appreciate that. Let's get this movement moving forward. So, I was watching the Sylvester Gomez episode on Renegade Media. Shouts out to Renegade Media. He did a real good job on it, man. Um, and I want to do a reaction to it. See, I know Silver for about 2 years. We were in the same pod. Um, I used to hold a lot of his plugs. I used to do a lot of the mini writing. Sometimes the NF complaints that were going out to the streets, I took him out there for him. You know, we had a report. And I'll say this about Silver. Silver was a hardliner. He was strict. He was stern. I had no issues with him. You know, none at all. I thought he was cool. You know, and listen to him about not wearing red and stuff like that. That sounds just like him because if you ever met Silver, Silver's not too tall. He's always working out. He has really no tattoos. You know, you look at him, if you look at him from a distance, you just think he was a regular Mexican dude. Serio. But he was really intelligent. He was always trying to plan on, strategizing how to make money. Okay, he's the one that taught me, gave me the material to start learning how to play the stock market, how to invest in mutual funds and so forth. And I used to compile a list and play the stock market like I was in the cell. And I used to do like little inquiries and investigate these companies, and I'd see how much profit I turn around, and I'd share it with them. You know, and we used to talk about certain things within the NF because he knew I was destined to go out there. He knew my situation, he knew my as well as how much I looked after the Corcoran Regiment when I was on the streets because I was sending money to Corcoran. So, like I said, man, Silver to me was a good dude. When I was there, he was set up with Angel, AC for a minute, Angel Chavez, who from Visalia, who went out to court in Tulare County, and was supposed to bring back some dope. Didn't bring back the dope. He locked it up, and then he was on gangland or lockup about fucking 2 weeks later. Anyways, so hearing the stuff about Silver, man, running off with $60,000 and that's the only part that really shocked me in the story. As far as getting rid of the female, I could see Silver being like that. Because I remember having a discussion with Silver when we were talking about Wino Zarowski from Oakland. I said, man, what's going on with this dude? I go, he burned me and I couldn't locate him. And he told me right there. He goes, we're on the walking on cages. And he's like this, looking around. He goes, if you see him, put a bullet in his head. All right, pretty much a green light. All right, got you. But for the most part, he was having issues with Lencho for a minute. Him and Lencho were bumping heads, and Silver was sold up with Stork for a long time. And Stork has a reputation for maybe being a little harsh. Let's just say that. As far as I knew, Silver been an NF member, I think, for a long time. He was always solid, always cool. I was the maestro for the whole block, for all the Northerners and Norteños. So I had my own responsibilities. I'd make my reports, and I'd send my reports as far as monitoring all the manpower. We discussed things on the streets. I took complaints out there against another NF member that had came through Corcoran, who was pretty much talking and gossiping out there in the streets. And I sent word also about another individual who'd been deemed no good. That when they got there, I told him he was no good, but I can get confirmation. So when I got out to the streets, I touched base with the RC real quick, and the RC confirmed it. Sent word, and they used that dude to try to spear somebody. Instead of just hitting them, they used him to try to get someone else that they wanted. So, Silver was a very smooth operator. So, like, when I hear the stories about him having pull with correctional officers, yes, he did. He knew how to, use his PR skills, and get things done. And he was always about money, though. You know what I'm saying? And I got one funny story about Silver, right? So we get some clavo coming in the cards, and he sends me a kite. He goes, "Hey, can you handle it? Can you handle some tweak?" And I'm like, "Is this a trick question, bro, or what, man?" He goes, "No, can you handle it?" I said, "Yeah." Fuck it, let's see what So he sends me a little fucking paper from a card, and it didn't really work. He goes, "Oh, I sent you the wrong one." And he sent me one, man. I took it, man. Oh shit. I must have wrote him a fucking 5,000 word essay and shit, man. I'm like, fuck, yeah, this shit's good. You know what I mean? My fucking celly didn't know what the fuck was going on, man. I'm over like that and shit, man, and in a fucking shoe. You know what I mean? It'd been years, and I'm like, fuck. But yeah, man. The other issue when I went through corporate, him and Sombras were bumping heads about who was gonna take over corporate regiment. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of stuff that was going on. Lencho was behind a lot of it. Um, but Silver had Lencho pretty much on shutdown. And see, I was trying to reconnect with a whole different. I didn't know if my source to the streets was gonna be out there. You know what I'm saying? When I got out there, like my previous line was with Salinas when I went in, and so I asked him if he can get in contact, because at that time I stopped communicating after about 7 months with the streets because I wanted to focus on doing my time, and I was in corporate. And there was no reason for me to really communicate with anybody out there. So nobody ever called me. You know what I'm saying? So I gave my information. It never got to where it was supposed to go because I never got a call. And I sent the reports that he filed on dude. And, the second time when I went through there, he's coming by because I couldn't see, man. Everybody knows that. I used to have some glasses and shit. And he goes, "Can you see me?" I'm like, he goes, "We got something for you." Mondo Quinn comes by. "Hey, we got something for you." And next you know, Doughboy fucking sent me the whole fucking thing for me to go out to the streets and to find out who the regiment commander was for corporate and for me to fucking report back. I didn't even want to be part of it. I knew if I was the one to send word, it was going to get me crossed up. So even though they knew I was plugged in out there in the Cayas, they knew that it put me in a bad position by doing that. Because everything was kind of incommunicado. You got to remember, this is when everybody took their deals, and the Bay was trying to resume control. And from there, like I said, I'm listening to the story, and it seems like typical Silver. I mean, I can't say nothing bad from my experience with him. The $60,000 shocked me. You know what I'm saying? And but everything else pretty much aligns with how his thinking process is. If they got to go, you got to go. He was a gangster. And you looked at him, he wasn't no tattooed down or nothing looking like Skip. He looked like a regular dude, but he was treacherous. He was with it. Real light-skinned though. Real like Weddle looking. But he had Mexican features, like strong Spaniard features, man. And he could draw too pretty good, man. He hooked up some drawings and stuff, man, and made some good pruno. It's kind of crazy how he was on the SNY side and how he was allowed to stay out there. 'Cause sometimes people harbor that kind of animosity, especially if you debriefed, you told, or whatnot, and you go out there. They may look at you as, hey, you ruined a lot of careers as well. You know what I mean? But me knowing Silver, he never was a unfair person. But he was business first and foremost. So Jahan's story pretty much is pretty accurate. You know what I'm saying? I did hear him say that if they can't get you, they'll get to one of your someone close to you. I don't know that to always be true. I've heard rumors of that, but to be honest with you, one, they're not going after kids, and two, they're not going after old ladies, because the backlash that would happen if they do that would be enormous. The only way they would do that is if those people were involved in the functions and activities, because that's one thing that the NF wouldn't want to do. And a brother or something like that, it's like they could do that if they want, but at the same time, this is what I've always been told, and I've heard people debate this before. How can you hold someone accountable for what the next man does, even if they're your family members? It's an uncompromising situation. Now, it's happened in the past. We know that. But that's because people got involved in it. That's why there's people to this day that, what I'm saying, like Travieso from Modesto, you know what I'm saying? His dad was a dropout right now. You know what I'm saying? They're not going after him for who his dad is. You get what I'm saying? So that's the only thing that I was kind of questionable. It's not to say that they won't, but you have to be deeply involved for them to even think of that. You know what I'm saying? And you can't show me one case where that's happened. So I really doubt they would do that. But I mean, look at the stuff that was put in that the state retort, which was pretty much, you know what I'm saying, everything's on the table. So you can't put nothing past nobody, man. But back to Silver. $60,000 went MIA, man. And I didn't see that coming from him. I thought he was going to go the distance. But I think that even though he was the regiment commander, and I think he probably was a lieutenant. I'm pretty positive he was a lieutenant. Even as a regiment commander, he still had issues like all these cat twos did. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the C's that were cat twos that didn't get past a certain realm. You know what I'm saying? They were bumping heads with other C's. They were having conflicts and so forth. It's just, that's how the game is, man, period, man. There's always going to be jealousy, envy, and whatnot. Or people thinking they could do a better job, or people that want your job. You know, that's why those that are at the top maintain it through what? Through how they enforce things, man. You know, I mean, everybody I've known that went through Corcoran's been put on freeze, or, you know what I'm saying? Even recently, some of these guys have been put on freeze. You know what I'm saying? Just based upon their activities. And I guess he didn't meet that next realm. You know what I'm saying? So I guess he ended up flipping, doing his thing, man. But Silver, for the most part, man. You know, if you're watching Silver, I send my saludos, respect those. Reach out to me, Mr. Flaco de Convicts Perspective on IG, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you be tapping in, watching. I know you're doing your Christian thing. That's awesome, brother. Tap in with me one time, though, man. You know, we're all trying to make a better world. You know, and despite his past transgressions with the lifestyle, you know, hey, we can all redeem ourselves and make changes, man, for the positive, man. You know, but, you know, some of the things I've done, I'm not proud of. I've done a lot of fucked up shit, you mean? You know, and I'll be making living amends for the rest of my life. And I think a lot of us who've walked in those shoes and lived that life and things that we were part of and had to do, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be consequences as far as for the rest of our life for what we did. We're going to have those feelings. We're going to have that regret. And we just have to take it one day at a time. Because if not, it's going to destroy you. You know what I'm saying? Those demons do come out at times and make you think about all the bad stuff that you've done. And, you know, I can relate that, you know, Silver, I thought was going to go the fullest, man. You know, but it just goes to show that those that don't have a life sentence are sometimes the ones that are most at risk to end up flipping. Think about that, man. You know, a lot of these people that were in Operation Quiet Storm, they're already doing life. So there's no incentive for them to even flip. That's all. This life is all they know. But when you have people out there that just got out, they're looking at that 20 years just for fucking a phone call or whatnot. You're going to get people who are going to decide to say, you know what, fuck this life. You know, I think you get to a point in that life where you know shit's bullshit, but you keep on continuing on because you're more worried about people think of you and your ego. You know what I mean? Because if you really think you're going to do a better job than the next man, you maybe for 2 months longer, so be it. You're eventually going to get hemmed up. There's no way around it, period. You know what I'm saying? I can't find one successful NF member who fucking has a 401k plan, who fucking has retirement, who bought a house off his workings for the NF. No, it had to be their own fucking workings. You know what I'm saying? Not one person. Anyways, I'm going to try to find a picture that I have of Silver. I'll post it up on here in the video. And, you know, I thought it was a good video. You know, some things kind of shocked me a little bit, but just the one part, the $60,000, because I always thought Silver was a man that wasn't going to ever, you know, do something that drastic. You know what I'm saying? And $60,000, man, he must have had some issues on the table then. You know, for him to do that, he must have had some issues that were being pushed against him for him to decide like that, because that's a straight vindictive move, kind of like, you know what I mean? Now he's doing the Christian thing, so let's see how that lasts. Anyways, everybody have a positive day, man. Keep it pushing. It's your boy Flaco. I'm gone.